Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for coming to my session about being a freelancer. My name is Roberto Cortez, and I'm very happy to be here with you today. Are you guys enjoying the conference? Great. So before we start, I'd like to ask you a few questions. Do we have any freelancers here in the audience? Please raise your hand. We have a couple. And how about the rest of the audience? Do you want to be a freelancer in the future? Yeah, most of you here. That's why you're here. So thank you so much. Anyway, I want to make like a very quick disclaimer. At the moment, I'm not working as a freelancer, so that doesn't sound very good, right? The thing was, that's another story, but I got like an opportunity that I couldn't refuse, so I'm working for actually a startup company at the moment. But I've been working as a freelancer for the last 3 years, so I think that at least those years of experience can help you guys know where to start and what you can do in the future as well. And that doesn't mean that I left the freelance life because I wasn't happy. Actually, I was very, very happy about it. But then this opportunity, and I couldn't say no to it. But that's another story, and you can come to me later if you want to hear about it. Anyway, if you want to be a freelancer, there are multiple ways that you can do it, right? You can actually pick up a billboard and go to the streets and say, oh, I can code HTML for food, right? That's one way to do it. But that's actually not very appealing. Because that's not going to work in the end. You actually want to make something cool and something nice. But let me tell you how it started with me. So I think that if you want to be a freelancer, you have to start to get some experience first. Before I actually got into this life, I've been working with a couple of companies, probably like 2 before, like not really big corporate, but not exactly startup either. So it was like companies like 300 or 400 people. And I think that the time that I spent there gave me much experience that then I use on my freelance life, with like experience of like talking with customers, experience with technologies as well, and all sorts of things. It doesn't mean that if you don't have that experience, you cannot do a freelance in the future. The thing is, I think it's going to be easier for you if you have some kind of track record first. So what actually happened with me was that I was a little bit unhappy with my work at the time. And then I came to my manager and told him, so I want to do something different because I was working for the same company for like 7 years. And I mean, I might have worked there for like till the rest of my life, until I was like 60 or 65 years old. But maybe when I got to that age, I will look back in the past and I will say, oh, I have a good life, but I never tried something different. So you never know what I was missing. So let's see if I can do something different. So I came to my manager, told him that, and he said to me, okay, so you want to do freelance? Sure. Can we hire you? And the thing is, if you think about it, that makes perfect sense because I don't have the numbers, but I read a couple of articles that some of the most money that companies spend is on recruitment. And if you can actually hire someone that you already know and you have already experience on what you're doing and you already trust, it's going to be much cheaper than actually hire a replacement when you leave the company. So. And speaking with other freelancers, also this made perfect sense. So I know a couple of them that also started this way. So they came to their managers or their administration and say, we want to quit. And then they end up like working for the same company again as a freelance. And that's like a very, very mind-shifting experience because then you start to be your owner of your time and the owner of what you want to do. And then you start to experience a lot of different things there. So this summarizes a little bit. I will also tell you this, that for the guys that don't have experience yet, I recommend you get some first. If not, there's also a couple of things that can help you, like having unique skills. I also know a colleague that he started to work with an Oracle product that no one knows about, and now he's like one of the guys that knows the product that much. And the thing is, since there are not many people that know about that Oracle product, he actually travels around the world giving trainings and giving expertise about that. And he found this niche market there, learning the technology and use the technology to some extent. So another good way to do it is find a niche technology and try to bet on that, because maybe if you don't have experience yet, that can help you to secure some clients, because it's like this is the market, right? So it's the law of demand and supply, right? It's the same thing here. Another thing I will tell you is you need to invest in yourself. I mean, all of you guys made an investment to come to the conference, either by you pay your trips to come here, even if your company sent you here, you're spending some time here. You have to pay accommodations, food, doesn't matter, but you're making an investment to be here. So that's something that I did as well. How can someone hire you if they don't know you, right? That's the same thing with a product. How can you buy a product if you don't know that that product exists? So you need to make yourself available in the market. People need to know you. People need to know that you're available, that you are willing to work. I can give you like a very funny story about that sense, is that when I started, I made some business cards, and then I start to go to conference, start to handing over a whole bunch of people and say, oh, I'm a freelance, I'll do all sorts of things and so on. And actually I got a contact from one of those business cards, a client from the US, and then I started to work with him. I mean, I think I printed like 200 business cards and I only got one contact from those 200. So like the conversion is very, very small, but still that was more than enough for me to actually have a client that was giving me steady income and was giving me work and was giving me money for it. So the point that you hear being this conference or other conference is that you make networking, you make connections, and you can like switch all these kind of contacts. And now I'm not a freelancer, as I say you in at the start of the presentation, but maybe now that you're here and you see me that I'm here, maybe you had some work that you could give me to me if you were looking for someone to do something very, very quick. Another point, also if you have your own blog, can help you because that gives you visibility. So I also have like my own blog, which is robertocortez.com, was in the beginning, and I also got contacts from the blog for people asking for training and all sorts of consultancy. So if you want, of course, being a freelance, you have to make yourself available. You have to be kind of like a product in a shelf, that you need to make yourself visible and available so people know you, and people know you that can hire you and can contact you to do stuff. So this pretty much summarizes what I was saying. Create the blog, go to conferences. The investment might be high at the beginning, but maybe it will pay off in the future. At least, in my opinion, it did pay off for me. Also, I will say that you have to keep an open mind about something. I usually specialize in a couple of technologies, but sometimes clients have all sorts of problems. I usually hate JavaScript. I don't do it. I try to like have other guys do it. But if the client comes to me and say, "Oh, I have this problem. Can you please help me fix it?" I mean, it's work and it's money. So, are you going to really refuse it? You always have to be sincere with your client to say, oh, I'm not capable of doing this, but on the other hand, I will try to do it and I will try to help you. And if you can do the good work, he will be happy enough to give you more work in the future. I mean, if you have to choose between giving a work to someone that you know and giving a work to someone that you don't know, which one are you going to choose, right? If they are on the same capability levels. So if you can help your customer doing all kinds of things, even like recommending other people, that's also a good thing to do. So me and other colleagues of me that are also freelancers, and this happens a lot, is that I know they have expertise on some things that I don't. So when I have some works that I feel that I'm not capable of doing, I send that work for them. And the opposite is always true. So when they feel that they can take it, they send it to me. So we don't have any networking like freelancers.com, which I hate, and I saying this because I tell you to stay away from it. It's just like informal way of doing things and talking with people that you know that are on this life. So maybe you already knew a couple of guys that are doing that. So try to talk with them and see if they can send something for you. Also, like just a very quick story as well. Like that US customer, he asked me to do Android stuff. I never done any Android stuff before, but that was Java, right? So I have expertise with Java. So I did like this very small prototype for what he was asking, and he was very happy. And then he just started sending me actual work related with backend stuff, which is more my style of things of doing on technology level. And well, he was happy, and then he just sent me more work. So that's how things work, in my opinion. I have to be honest with you, like, you're going to have to deal with a lot of paperwork that you usually don't have to do it because it's shielded on your corporations or your companies that you work on. So I'm not exactly... all the people here are from the UK? Or most of you? Well, probably like 50% or 40% of the room. Well, but each country has their own taxes and their own way of doing things and their own way of doing receipts and expenses and so on. So you're going to waste a lot of crazy time like doing all these things. And in my opinion, this is trying to take your mind away, or this is taking your focus away of what you actually need to do. That's working on your client, working on the technology, solving problems. This is something that you have to do because it's on your way of living. But my advice here, hire someone to do that for you. I mean, probably you're going to earn more with the hours that you're going to send to your client working for him than the hours you're going to spend doing the paperwork. And then with the hours that you earn, then you can pay an accountant to do that kind of work. So paperwork is a nightmare, really. They're going to pile up. So hire someone to do that for you, and it's going to give you freedom to actually focus on things that you really need to do. Now, something that can also happen is it's very easy to get carried away. At some point, I was working with 4 clients at the same time. Of course, I didn't have much time left. So don't be afraid to refuse jobs if you start to having a lot of them. Actually, that's a good problem, right? If you start getting a lot of requests and a lot of things. So use this to help you between you. So if you start getting a lot of things, you can send them to other guys, to other freelancers, and that's going to work in the end. Also, if you're doing a lot of stuff at the same time, the quality of your work might not be the greatest, right? Because you're not focusing at the single client or 2 clients at the most. I'm not telling you what's the exact number of clients you have to attend. That's up to you, or that's up to how many you can take. But don't be afraid to refuse jobs. It's better to refuse a job than making bad work. Because if you do it, then you're going to shut down the door to that customer, and it's probably not going to come to you next time. And then you lost the customer, right? So this pretty much summarizes the things here. As a final message, I want to tell you guys, we are very lucky at the work that we have. So when I was younger, I never had the idea I was going to follow the tech world. And now sometimes I have discussions with a couple of friends that we were very lucky because we actually follow a profession that we don't have a shortage of jobs. Actually, there's more demand than supply. So what's the worst thing that can happen to you if you quit your job and start working as a freelance? Probably like in a couple of months, if this doesn't work, you can join another corporate and start working again. So I don't think that's going to be a problem for you to get a job again if you do freelance work doesn't work for you guys. So that's why I usually say, what's the worst thing that can happen to you? In my opinion, you don't work if you don't want to work, it's because you don't want to do it, because there's plenty of jobs there, even if they are not very interesting, but at least they will keep you up. Anyway, that was my final message. So I'm out of time. So thank you so much, guys. And I'm not sure if we have time for questions, probably not, but I'll be happy to answer questions out of the room. So thank you so much again.